In this week's Wild World of Weather, we start with the gift that keeps on giving. Wildfire smoke is back. The upper atmospheric winds have brought back Canadian wildfire smoke down to the lower 48 again. Chicago, Milwaukee, and Detroit had the worst air quality in the world this week. The smoke was seen as far south as Nashville, Charlotte, Myrtle Beach, and even Atlanta. 20 million acres have burned in Canada so far. That's a record. According to the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Center, there are currently 500 fires burning right now, with half considered out of control. Severe storms spanned from the Great Lakes to the Deep South on Sunday. Now, there were 14 tornado reports between Arkansas, Kentucky, and Indiana. Severe winds were reported in Tennessee, where a Memphis power company called these the worst winds in terms of power outages. The Memphis area alone had over 120,000 people without power, with many ordered to boil water. 80 to 90-mile-per-hour winds left trees uprooted and entire rows of power lines leveled. The storms have caused an estimated $25 million worth of damage. Next, we head to the Garden State, where the sound of chainsaws echoed through Somerset County, New Jersey earlier this week after a tornado touched down Monday afternoon. A half-dozen cars were destroyed and trees were snapped in half or fell on homes and power lines. That left 98% of Bernardsville, New Jersey, without power. Tornadoes aren't rare in New Jersey, but they have been seeing an unusual amount lately. Monday's tornado marked the 10th for the year, when New Jersey's average is typically 2 for the year. Now, these storms were on the rim of a high-pressure system, bringing a heat wave to tens of millions in the United States this week. Of course, that of course includes us. The heat is being blamed for at least a dozen deaths, while hundreds have been sent to the emergency room. June 2023 is on tap to be the hottest on record for much of Texas, where the heat has been sitting for the last few weeks. That heat dome has pushed east and is what's giving Louisiana record high temperatures lately, with New Orleans clocking its first 100-degree day in 7 years just yesterday. We could rival a record again today, with the possibility of 100 degrees again this afternoon. Now, next, we head to South America, where days of intense rainfall have caused rivers to overflow their banks. So many had to be rescued by boat and helicopter this week, as entire towns and villages have been inundated by water. Small towns have been left isolated as roads have been washed out. And there wasn't a lot of warning, as many watched a wall of water plunge down the Mapocho River, that's Santiago's main waterway. Over 400 people have been left homeless, and sadly 2 have lost their lives, with 3 still missing. The governor of Santiago called this, quote, the worst weather front that we have seen in 10 years. So while we're dealing with extreme heat, our friends in South America dealing with a lot of rain.